baladeya karo nijamane spriyahina sakala sanmane karite sakati dehonata jata jata tabe to gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha behata tabe to gaibo harinama sukhe aparadha behata bolo bolo kabe hena kripa labhiye jana kitarta hoibe nata kabe hena kripa labhiye jana kitarta hoibe nata Shakti buddhihina apiyati dina karamore atma sata Shakti buddhihina amiyati dina karamore atma sata Jagyata bichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna sar Jagyata bichare kichu nahi pai tomara karuna sara Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya varana rakhibo ara Karuna na hoile kandiya kandiya pranana rakhibo ara Gurudev kripa bindu diya karo ei dase tinapeka otihina Sakala sahane baladeya karo nijamane spriyahina Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Gaur Premanande Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivachika His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Niti Lila Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivachika His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Kori Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopina Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Muthurdham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. We read Bhagavatam or? It's the translation of the song. Gurudev, with a drop of mercy, make this servant of yours humble, humbler than a blade of grass. Give me the strength to bear all trials and troubles, and free me from all desire for honor. O Lord and Master, please invest me with the power to honor all living beings properly. Only then will I sing the holy name in great ecstasy, free of offenses. O Lord and Master, when will such mercy fall to this weak and foolish devotee? Please make me your beloved servant. When I examine myself, I find nothing of value, therefore. That's it. Because it just finishes there. Read the next. Is there more?
There is, but it's just cut out.
Yeah, it's cut out. Okay, Hare Krishna. I'm going to read from the story of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Hare Krishna. So today is a very special day. All over the world in our ISKCON temple, we are glorifying Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada. So, because of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, we have ISKCON today. It's because of his mercy we have the we can take shelter of the Hare Krishna movement. So we are so grateful to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his mercy, we have Srila Prabhupada. If it wasn't for Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we don't have ISKCON, we don't have Srila Prabhupada. So it's actually, just try to understand how fortunate we are that we have Srila Prabhupada, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is, he could have done the preaching himself. He was powerful enough to preach these glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, but Srila Prabhupada was the one to do it. Srila Prabhupada was just on his way to come. So the whole acharyas and everyone was waiting for Srila Prabhupada to come. So the greatest contribution of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is his contribution of Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada is connected to so much Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur because Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is an acharya like Prabhupada. He is coming down in the Guru Parampara system all the way from Krishna. So everything that we have today is because the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, the teachings of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, teachings of Bhaktivedanta Thakur, teachings of all the acharyas is because of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and his mercy. You know, little bit. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by his mercy, like I said, by his mercy we can relish the Krishna consciousness society, and we are ever grateful to Saraswati Thakur. Of course, we know the story of how he appeared. Any incarnation of Krishna, they appear according to their own will at a certain time in a certain place. So similarly, also the pure devotees of Krishna, they also appear in a certain time in a certain place. And of course, the pure devotees of Krishna, they are Shaktavesh, like Shaktavesh. They are empowered by Krishna, and they take their appearance in this world according to the will of Krishna. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the guru of Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, appeared in Sri Khetra Dham, Jagannath Puri, February 6th, according to today is February 13, according to the Tithi, 1874, as the son of Srila Satchidananda Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is also the father of Bhaktisiddhanta, and he had many children, and among them, I think it was 12, among them Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is the seventh one. And it's mentioned here that he can memorize Bhagavad Gita, the whole Bhagavad Gita, at the age of 7. He was age of 7. How old are you? 7, 10. Can you remember the whole Bhagavad Gita or not? Not really, right? So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he can remember the whole of Bhagavad Gita. How many verses in there? Yeah, the whole thing. So he was known as the encyclopedia for his vast knowledge. And sometime he was so powerful that they used to call him the Lion Guru. As he was growing up, he was learning from his father, Bhaktivedanta Thakur. And it's not that he preached convincing against casteism and philosophical deviation from Gauriya Vaishnavism. He tried to unite the four Vaishnava Sampradaya by publishing the teachings by the Srila Saraswati Thakur, earned the title named Nishinga Guru for his fearless and powerful delivery of Vaishnava Siddhanta. So he was known as the Lion Guru, Nishinga Guru, so powerful. It's mentioned that when he was only 7-year-old, he ate a mango from a kitchen that was an offer to Krishna. So his father, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he said, "You ate a mango, it was an offer to Krishna." So it's how he could do that. So he said, "From today on, I will never eat a mango for whole life." He took a vow. So he never ate a mango. So people used to offer mangoes to him. He never ate it because others didn't bother to ask him because, can I have it because you're not eating it? It wasn't like that. So he was traveling once on a train, and people gave him mangoes. So some of these mangoes they go rotten very quickly. And so he saw these Mayavadis, impersonalists, on the other side of the train. And so he told his disciples, he says, "Bring those Mayavadis to me." Mayavadis are the impersonalists. He was very against them. So they came over and they said, "You think everybody is same? You think it's all one?" So he said, "Give him this rotten mango. It's all one. Make them eat." Because rotten mangoes is all one too. So he was so powerful. People were scared of him, especially, like I said, Mayavadis, impersonalists. He says Mayavadis would cross the street to avoid confronting the Lion Guru. Besides being a courageous preacher, he was ornamented with all divine qualities and full of ecstatic love of God. So he established Krishna consciousness. The Hare Krishna Gauriya is known as Gauriya Math. Originally Srila Prabhupada came from that Gauriya Math, and he established 64 temples all over India, and outside of India was Burma and Germany. It's according to here, and he used to 64 moths, temples, all in India, including England, Germany, and Burma. I guess the rest of the world, he left it for Prabhupada to do it. Not that he couldn't do it, he left it for Prabhupada. So, Srila Saraswati Thakur excavated Lord Chaitanya's supreme place at the Yoga Pit in Sridham Mayapur, despite heavy opposition from the money-hungry caste Goswamis of Navadip. He built a beautiful Gauriya Math temple there. So, when you go to Mayapur, you see the very big temple there. That's the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was known as Yoga Pit. So that temple was built by, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The road, when you go to Mayapur, that road is known as the Bhaktisiddhanta Road. Because it mentioned, long time ago, Queen was coming to Mayapur. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he organized to build this road for Queen. And Queen of England, Victoria. So they didn't have enough time, so they got all the villages to get dirt and everything and make a dirt road and making it look nice. So that road from that time is known as Bhaktisiddhanta Road. That's why. So when you go to Mayapur, you're on that road. Of course, now it's nicer than before. That road is known as Bhaktivedanta Road. So there is, before that, when you go to Mayapur, there is the samadhi of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And in that area, there is the deity called Gandharvika Giridhari. Very beautiful deity, extremely like Radha Vallabha, bigger deity. And so it's mentioned that before he got the deity, like he had to go and buy the deity. And the person who was selling it, he had a dream that the sadhu is going to come, a saint, and he just give the deity, don't sell to him. So he already knew the sadhu is coming the next day. That's Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So he went there and he asked for the deity, those that you see them there, Gandharvika Giridhari. And he gave them immediately before he said anything. He said, how do you know that? He said, I had a dream that I had meant to give the deities to you. Janani Prabhu told me. So when you go to Mayapur, you see there's a place where Govardhan Hill, because Mayapur is known as Gupta Vrindavan, which means hidden Vrindavan. Everything you see in Vrindavan is all there in Mayapur, because Mayapur is also Vrindavan, spiritual world, just like Vrindavan is a hidden Vrindavan. So they have Govardhan Hill, Radhakund, Shamakund, but they're washing their clothes in there, Radhakund, Shamakund. But nonetheless, it's Radhakund. So they have those deities there, Gandharvika Giridhari, very beautiful deity, established by Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So he had his three Brihat Mridangas. You know, we play Mridanga, it's known as Brihat Mridanga. Brihat Mridanga is known as the printing press. And in printing press, he had in Madras, Calcutta, and Krishnanagar. You know where Krishnanagar is? Krishnanagar is just near Mayapur, between Shantipur and Mayapur. Because I grew up in Shantipur. I was born in Shantipur. So we should buy vegetables and things to Krishnanagar, you know. And in Krishnanagar they have a bazaar where they sell cows and buffaloes, you know, animal market. Not for killing, for buying. He raised them. So I remember I was like very young age. My father took me to Krishnanagar. So he said, we're going to buy a cow. I said, oh yeah, I love cows. So we went to buy cows. And because we were growing up, we need milk. So we said, we want cow that gives milk. We're a pregnant cow. So I said, I like this one. So there's many cows. And had goats, you know, bakri. We said, one goats, just cows. I said, I also would like a goat, one goat and a cow. So we had a few goats, and I didn't go to school because I love cows. I just take care of cows. And this cow would give enough milk for the family. So that's why we're strong, because when you drink cow's milk when you're early age, not chemical milk like you get in the supermarket here, fresh cow milk from the cows. And even today, when you get milk, sometimes they add water. So some places what they do, they bring the cows in front of your house and they milk it for you. So there's no question of putting water in it. So Krishnanagar is the town where Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had his printing press. He used to print magazines known as Nadia Prakash. Yeah. Nadia Prakash, yeah, where it means the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So once he was asked why he printed daily newspaper entitled Nadia Prakash. Srila Saraswati Thakur replied. He said, if an insignificant city, that's Krishnanagar, can produce 5 daily newspapers, then why can't we publish a newspaper every second about the eternal, ever-fresh transcendental activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his unlimited spiritual planet, Golok Vrindavan. So, you can see Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he always wanted to glorify Krishna. And a newspaper and all these magazines, he was printing the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And of Golok Vrindavan. So, apart from his father's writing, he published many authorized sastras, Bhagavad Gita, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Chaitanya Bhagavat, Chaitanya Mangal, Prema Bhakti Sandrika, and his favorite book, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that he predicted that one day the foreigners will study Bengalis. And that's true today. If you go to the Russians and Americans, Australians, they're learning Bengalis. Like this guy, Atul Krishna. He even married a Bengali from Bangladesh, and he can speak fluent Bengali, and he's scholarly. So this is the prediction of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, that the foreigners would learn our language. And because when you can read the language, it's much more relishable, the nectar of the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When you can read in your own language, isn't it? So he introduced many innovation, expanding the preaching of Krishna consciousness. And at that time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, that time, preaching Krishna consciousness is not like today. A sannyasi, if you're a sannyasi, you should be serving others and not wearing shoes. Very simple, like a renunciate. And it's against the rule for a sannyasi to travel overseas, like cross the sea. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was going against all of that. He was wearing leather shoes. Leather shoes, you're not supposed to wear leather shoes. When he was wearing leather shoes, and he was wearing jacket, and he was riding in a motor car, Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce. I mean, today we have cars, but at that time, so he was saying, "You are sadhu, why are you using all this opulently?" And so he was criticized heavily. So he introduced Krishna consciousness. It's known as the innovation of Krishna consciousness, preaching in an extensive way, like we are doing today. If you really want to preach in India, you have to be like a mendicant, not having anything. You don't wear a watch or any jewelry or very, very simple. That's why in India they were attracted to a sadhu, essentially. But when they see ISKCON, we have lavish temples and like all the beautiful deity, and even Bhaktacharya Maharaj was taking a helicopter to go to Mayapur from Calcutta. Some people criticize, but Prabhupada was coming to Mayapur, and I even saw him in a very fancy Mercedes. They pick him up from Calcutta, decorated with flower, and so this is because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was preaching Krishna consciousness in a Western way, because he wanted to attract the foreigners. That time the British were in India. So if you're just sitting saying Hare Krishna on the side of the road, nobody would come to you. So he was wearing jacket and leather shoes and going in a Rolls Royce. So people was criticizing, he said, how you can preach Krishna consciousness like this? So he started preaching Krishna consciousness in a very big way, international scale. So he was breaking the tradition. He let his sannyasis wear tailored kurtas and overcoats, ride in cars and motorboats, and carry Mahaprabhu's message across the sea to Europe. Jai, Hare Bo. Who is going to, if we have our Melbourne temple here, and we didn't have all this lavish prasharam and nice Brahmachari Ashram to live in with hot water and filtered water to take bath, who's going to come? So we have the facility. This is why we have Hare Krishna movement. Srila Prabhupada is to personally go into Mataji's ashram, Mataji's Brahmachari Ashram, to say how they are. And he's an elderly man. And he noticed them, he's coming. To ask how everybody was. He was so caring. And he made sure that the devotees got enough prasharam. I'm mixing the stories, okay? One time, at the manor, Bhaktivedanta manor, there was this devotee, Brahmachari. He took a halava from the deity plate after being offered, and he ate it. So how he can do that? This is very offensive. It's not, the deity plate is not even clean, and you're taking it before even the deity plate is clean. So the temple president and authority, they kicked him out of the temple. And Prabhupada was there. They didn't even bother to consult Prabhupada. So when Prabhupada heard this, he was really angry. He said, nobody eats till they go and find him, bring him back. And cook halava, no need to offer, and give it to him. I mean, I came here, there's plenty of halava I don't want to eat because there's so much here. So you can see how Prabhupada was so loving and so caring. The most important thing is that if someone can be chanting Hare Krishna, someone is Krishna conscious. Don't worry about what they do. They'll give up gradually. The idea is to make people Krishna conscious, somehow or another. So, he was being criticized. He was wearing shoes and going in a motor car and what to speak, going on an airplane. I remember the first time we were learning how to preach Krishna consciousness from the Gurukul. So they chose me to go to another city, on an airplane, to go to another city. I had never rode an airplane. I said, okay, I'll give it a try. I'll go on an airplane. So we went from Calcutta to Nagaland, to make life member. That was 1978. I said, wow. And there was no devotees there. So we got to that place, and the devotee was a Gujarati devotee from, his name is Krishna Nam, very good preacher. And he was preaching. So he said, we want to go see the top guy in the village. And so we saw the top guy, and he spoke to him in Gujarati, and very wealthy. And he asked him for all the names of the rich people. So we stayed in his house, we had program, he invited all the rich people, and we were there for a month, and we made life members, like maybe 20 life members at that time. 1,108 rupees for each life member, 1978. Now it's maybe like 10 times more. And so what I'm saying is, if we travel like in a bullock cart, if you go to Crossways on bullock cart, it's going to take 2 days. Oh no, not that long. It will take a long time. So we need to speed up Krishna consciousness. So go on an airplane, go to Mayapur. Forget a bullock cart. Narad Muni, he had a spiritual body, he can travel wherever he wants. So at least, so Prabhupada was criticized. He says, you Swami, you were meant to have very little and live in a simple life, and you're going in a limousine. So Prabhupada said, my disciples, whatever they offer, I accept it. He said, but that's not an excuse. You're riding in a limousine, a monk. He said, God ride in a airplane that's made out of flour, run by mantra. And my disciple, they're giving me this tin can machine. It's better than nothing. So Bhaktisiddhanta was criticized the same way. It was criticized that how he was using the material things. So actually, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was creating a revolutionary preaching ideas sprang from the Shastric principle of Yukta Vairagya set forth by the Rasa Acharya, Srila Rupa Goswami. Being an eternally liberated soul, Srila Saraswati Thakur knew how to perfect perfectly engaged Maya, the illusory energy, in the service of Lord Krishna. So he knew a spiritual master is expert engaging others in Krishna's service. If someone needs to eat a lot of halva, so we give him that. Somebody may not need to eat so much halva, then we give him salad. We have everything that is necessary to make others Krishna conscious. Is there, everything is here in our Krishna movement. So if somebody want to live at the farm, work with the cows, fine, we have the farm. If somebody want to live in the city, we can live here. The idea is to become Krishna conscious. The idea is to become attached to Guru Maharaj. Idea is to become a loving disciple of your Guru. Those things are external. After a while, you will give up those things. So, those days were very different than now. Because those days, hundreds of years ago, many years ago, there is a thing called aprasampradaya. Like people who are making a show of devotion. They roll on the ground and tears from their eyes unnecessarily. And sometimes they can't cry, they put chili in their eyes to make the water come. I heard that. So, Prabhupada was in Vrindavan and these people came. They're rolling in the ground. And the devotees, the Brahmacharis, they heard that if somebody is rolling in the ground, I heard somebody said, they said that Prabhupada said that just give them a good kick in the side and then they will get up and go away. They will stop showing their ecstasy. So some devotee literally did that. They gave a good kick in the side, in the ribs, and he just ran away. He wasn't showing in the ecstasy anymore. Because if you're really showing off Krishna consciousness, sometimes we haven't seen anybody crying here. Just give them a good kick. But in Vrindavan, if you give anybody a good kick, they're rolling on the ground, big trouble, because all the locals will come after you. So somebody actually did that. So then the people say, how you can do that? Because they are known as sahajias. Sahajias, they make a show of Krishna consciousness. But inside they are full of desires, just making a show, tears from their eyes. Like I said, sometimes they put chili to make the water come. And sometimes, I'm fasting all day. Before you even fast, they tell everybody, I'm fasting tomorrow. I have already fasted. If you're fasting and you tell everybody, you lose your power. You don't tell everybody. Just do it secretly. So, that time, these people, they were showing symptoms. So that's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time, there was a thing called aprasampradaya. There's 4 sampradayas. Outside of the first sampradaya is known as aprasampradaya, external. You make a show. That's why Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was very strict about these owl, bowl, towel. They're different aprasampradayas, outside of the main line of the devotees. So I remember in Mayapur also, and there's some Bengali people came, they were going around and rolling around in the ground. In Mayapur, we don't tolerate those things. So we just grab him by the ears, get out of here. This is not the place to make a show. If somebody is very pure, they never make a show of the symptoms of pure love. They're hiding it, like Prabhupada. Prabhupada is always feeling love for Krishna, but they never make a show because the people will take it very cheaply. That's the idea. Like sometimes I feel like crying here in the temple. It's not because I see the deity, because I have too much work to do. Inside I'm thinking, oh God, this is all too much for me. I want to go back to China where I could do my own thing. Or, in Hong Kong or somewhere. Then I thought, so I'm crying to Krishna, please. We're supposed to pray to Krishna, give him more devotional service. I'm thinking, can you reduce a little bit? The idea, up till now, I haven't heard anyone dying from doing devotional service. And this temple has so much prasadam. I haven't seen anybody dying from overeating. It's because they have problem that they came to temple before they were devotees. And so you still diseased because you were diseased before you joined Hare Krishna. I remember I went on a Sankirtan. There's a lot of lila going on here in the temple. So I went on a Sankirtan. So I went one side of the road, and there's the other side of the road, there's a police flashing light. So I went over there. They said, your friend is in trouble. He said, he's going to jail. The other Brahmachari. I said, what for? He's with me. He's doing Sankirtan with me. You can't take him away. And the policeman said, no. Before he became a Hare Krishna, he has a $15,000 fine on him for not fine, like drugs and different things. So I said, what do I do? He said, we're going to arrest him. He has to go to jail. And so I was alone. And we have our car, and I didn't drive. So we had to call the temple. He went to jail. The temple president came and drove the car to temple, and I went back. And so they said, how long he has to stay in the jail? He said, they said 3 days. Those days were easy, not like today. All he has to do is go to jail. All the $15,000 will be automatically, will be deducted. He said, yeah, no problem. I'll just chant 64 rounds because he does too much work, so he can have a rest in the jail. So we are bringing Pusharam every day, Puri, Halava. He was having a good time in the prison. 3 days he had a break, he didn't have to do service, and he had all this Pusharam, and he could chant extra rounds. And jail in Australia is not like India. You can have a bed and sleep, watch TV. So he had a pretty good time. I said, anybody wants to go to jail? So me. So then, he was preaching to the people in the jail about Krishna consciousness, about Hare Krishna movement. So this Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, because of his mercy, we have the preaching ways of preaching Krishna consciousness today. Western ways. So if you're sitting in the street, with no shoes, like the policemen in India, even their shoes have a hole in the clothes. So if you're in India, sadhu, that's your choice. But if you want to make an impact in Krishna consciousness, if you want to preach more vigorously, preach in the Western country. I go to Mayapur, hey, everybody want to do puja. People are lining up to do puja. They have too many pujaris. So I said, I'll just go to Australia. There's lack of people. He can, it's your dad, Bhaktiman, he's looking for more pujaris. And people are Brahman thread, they don't want to do puja. And they say, oh yeah, I am a Brahman thread, I have a Brahmana. And so here we are lacking of people who want to do service. So Western country, Australia and New Zealand, America, Europe, we want devotees. So if you are living in a simple life, people are not going to join the Hare Krishna movement. So Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, way back at that time, he knew Yukta Vairagya. I remember I went to Mayapur, Brahmachari in the 80s. If you were in Maya, if you wear simple clothes, we had to wear silk, like really fancy. Then you were Krishna conscious those days. Like I had bought really good silk from Vrindavan, Loi Bazaar, and like paka, everything beat bag. And so I went to Mayapur, they said, how can you wear silk like that? You're a Brahmachari. I said, no, this is Yukta Vairagya. And I was wearing a fake Rolex. They said, oh, how you can? So we are wearing, but we are detached. We are very detached from it. So my brother came and said, give me a Rolex. And I gave it, I took it, I gave it to him. I said, I'm not attached to it. And Prabhu told me one time, one devotee gave Prabhupada a diamond ring. Usually sannyasis don't wear a diamond ring, and only grihastas wear a diamond ring. But even here the grihastas didn't wear because it's very expensive. And they gave it to their wife instead. I don't know what. So then they were on a morning walk, and this new bhakta, like nobody even knows him. This is some new guy, and he's wearing the diamond ring. So Prabhu said, he's the one who gave to Prabhupada. He said, who gave you that? He said, Prabhupada. He couldn't say that, I give it back to me, because Prabhupada gave him. So Prabhupada was very renounced. So we wear all these fancy things, but actually we are detached underneath. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we do not know they're preaching Krishna consciousness, but they may be wearing all these things, but underneath they're doing it for the preaching. They're very detached from it. Yeah. So that's what I was talking about, Yukta Vairagya. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati revolutionary preaching ideas sprang from the Sastric principle of Yukta Vairagya, set forth by the Rasa Acharya Srila Rupa Goswami. Being an eternally liberated soul, Srila Saraswati Thakur knew how to perfectly engage Maya, the illusory energy, in the service of Lord Krishna. So Rupa Goswami also, he was very renounced, but by his mercy, we have so many books. So you have to try to see what they are offering to us. Because following Srila Thakur Bhaktivinoda's footsteps, he preached Daivi Varnashram to harmonize social and society and provide spiritual fulfillment for all, advocating the teachings of Srila Rupa Goswami and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. He taught the science of devotional service and showed thousands how to attain pure love for Sri Chaitanya, Sri Gandharvika Giridhari Radha Krishna. That's his deity. Aside from his phenomenal preaching success in India, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's greatest contribution was, you tell me, huh? Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is the greatest contribution of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. When contribution was Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki, whom he initiated and inspired to distribute Krishna consciousness all over the world. When Srila Prabhupada was asked to describe his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he said, what did he say? He said, what can I say? What can I say? He was a Vaikuntha man. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he is an Acharya like Srila Prabhupada. By the mercy of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we have Srila Prabhupada today. We have ISKCON today. If Srila Prabhupada wasn't for Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even though he could have preached Krishna consciousness and Bhaktivedanta Thakur all over the world, but Srila Prabhupada was the one who was chosen to preach Krishna consciousness. That's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, they could have done it, but because out of mercy, they just left some service for me to do. That's how Prabhupada used to say. But Prabhupada was very, very humble. So, this is talking about Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually was initiated by Gaur Krishna Das Babaji into. So sometimes we ask how we can, our spiritual master, his spiritual masters, and his spiritual master, Gaur Krishna Das Babaji is a Babaji. How can that be? Why aren't we a Babaji? Babaji means someone who's just chanting Hare Krishna all day. So, at that time, no one is qualified actually to initiate Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So it was his father's desire. Bhaktivedanta Thakur wanted his son Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur to get initiated by Gaur Krishna Das Babaji. There's a lot of Babajis around. If you go today, there's a lot of Babaji. They just wear a little cloth, then eat once a day. And I remember one time, one of our devotees says, I want to become a Babaji. Something which I never want to. So he said, I want to become Babaji. So he says, it's not possible. He insisted, So he made a small hut, like a tent in Mayapur. Those days in Mayapur in the 70s, it was just nothing. It's all rice field. So we were all living in the Lotus building, and he had a hut. And then he was going against Prabhupada instruction. So Prabhupada told him he cannot maintain, become a Babaji. And sooner or later he left, he fell down, he went back to America. So most important thing is to follow the instruction of your guru. If you follow the instruction of your guru, if you go against the instruction of your guru, then you can do whatever you like, Babaji or not Babaji. You are making offense to your spiritual master. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur took Babaji initiation from Gaurakrishna's Babaji, but he wasn't a Babaji. He was a preacher, Krishna consciousness, riding a car, motor car, a Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce those days, and today a Rolls Royce is different. If you see Rolls Royce those days in the 1800, it was made from silver or gold, not like today. If your Toyota bang into a Rolls Royce, it will break. Those days so there's a picture of Bhaktivedanta Thakur riding in a Rolls Royce, and so people, that's ways to criticize. I even heard that he even ate an ekadashi, grains. He said for preaching. So he saw preaching Krishna consciousness is a priority. This is why I said that. So someone said, how he can be a Babaji? His Guru Maharaj is Babaji and he's not a Babaji. Because his Guru Maharaj, Gaurakrishna's Babaji, is not a fake Guru. He's a real Babaji. Like I said, there's so many Babaji. He is the only Babaji that is so renounced. There's not one Babaji around that time like him. So he was the only one qualified to give initiation to Bhaktivedanta Thakur. So he got the name Vasavanavi Dayitai. That's his initiated name, actually. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur, when he took sannyas, his father Bhaktivedanta Thakur already passed away. Then he took sannyas. He wanted to preach Krishna in sannyas, so he took from a picture of his guru. I couldn't find what was his age that time. 44. Huh? 44. And it's mentioned that he was so determined to chant Hare Krishna. He was chanting 64 rounds. So then he said, no eating, no sleeping. He sat in a room, in one place, no moving around, and he started chanting. He said, "We're going to chant 64 rounds. It takes day and night, whole day. And we chant 16 rounds. It takes 2 hours. 64 rounds, you would have to start 4 o'clock and it finish at night. That means no time to even go to the toilet. So he'll be sitting 64 rounds. And it was, the roof caved, big storm, in Bengal, the storm. And the roof went flying and it was pouring rain on him. So he got an umbrella and keep chanting. He's so determined. So it's mentioned that the acharyas, and they all came to him. They said, your business is not to sit here and chant 64 rounds all day, like a Babaji. You are meant to preach. Like it says here, Jakta Vairagya. So he gave up the idea of sitting there and chanting. That's why he installed the 64 Gauriya Math all over India. And he was so powerful preaching Krishna consciousness that people were afraid of him. They would go against him to try to hurt him. Nishinga Guru, it's mentioned Nishinga Guru. And when he left this world, he was, I think he was 63. Yeah, 62. And this Gauriya Math, that's his mission all over India. After he left, all those people that were supposed to preach Krishna consciousness, Gauriya Math, they were fighting each other. They're selling his property. So they didn't maintain what he has given to them. They were just be selfish. So, just read a little bit. Yeah. So, his father was Bhaktivedanta Thakur. After the death of his father, which was 1918, then he took sannyas. After the passing away of Bhaktivedanta Thakur, his father. So, actually, Bhaktivedanta Thakur also knew that his son, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the seventh in the family, he had many children, 12 children, he was the seventh one, and the seventh one he knew that he's going to be the one that's going to be preaching Krishna consciousness, establishing Krishna consciousness all over the world and in India. So that's why he insisted that he took initiation from Gaur Krishna Das Babaji. So initiation is a very important thing. So if somebody said that, he should be Babaji, but actually Babaji Maharaj, he's the biggest preacher because even though he's a Babaji, he made one disciple who preached Krishna consciousness all over India. That's good enough. If you want to take a Babaji initiation, fine. Then you have to produce someone like Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. That's what they used to say. So if you say, I want to take a Babaji, then you have to produce Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So, then you can do whatever you like. And Gaur Krishna Das Babaji, the spiritual master of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was so renounced that he was eating out of a skull as a bowl. So renounced. Like we have our plates, our own plates, with cups and everything, where you can put sweet rice, gulab jamun, halwa, very fancy plates we bring from India. Some of them we have like silver plate and stuff. That's for the deity. But in Hong Kong we have silver plates for sannyasis. But some of them said, I don't want to eat, I just want to eat regular plates. But I'm just saying how renounced Gaur Krishna Das Babaji was. And he used to eat mud from the Ganges. Like Krishna ate clay, a little bit. But he was eating mud out of I remember in Mayapur, in those days, some Western boys, the Bengali boys were throwing mud at the Western boys. I was supposed to protect them. I couldn't because there were too many of them. So I complained to our teacher. So during the lunchtime, those boys, they had to sit in a group and we would give them mud to eat instead of prasadam, because they're throwing mud at the Western devotees, boys. So Gaur Krishna Das Babaji was eating mud. So how renounced he was. So somebody says, so he produced Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he was so renounced. Even though he was propagating Yukta Vairagya, riding in a motor car, in a Rolls Royce, and wearing leather shoe and coat, but he was so renounced he could sit in one place, chant Hare Krishna 64 hours a day, despite any disturbances. None of us can do that. That's why the acharyas came to him. They said, that's not your job. Your job is to preach Krishna consciousness all over India, all over the world. If you're going to sit here, you won't be able to preach. So there was his duty to preach Krishna consciousness, his duty to accept those material things on behalf of acharyas. So Prabhupada was also criticized sometimes, how much wealthy he is and everything. So there was this couple sannyasis, they came from India, they came to Australia, they wanted to see how Srila Prabhupada established our Hare Krishna movement, the opulent. And I remember they came to Melbourne, one Gauriya Mat Sannyasi. He's like, wow. His mouth was open and he couldn't close it. He's going, he was so shocked to see so opulent temple. Gauriya Mat, very simple. So, like we were just looking at him because he couldn't close his mouth. He was so abak, like he became surprised to see the opulent temple. So even me, I came to the Hare Krishna temple, I saw how opulent it is. So I went to many temples and cobwebs not clean, monkeys running through the temple, imagine monkey running through here, impossible. Only you monkeys can run through here, not the real ones. So clean, you can eat off the floor, so clean. And the deity is so dressed so gorgeously, like shining. And now some of our temples in India, they're copying ISKCON. They're making very clean temple and jewelry. Usually in Gujarat also, they put jewelry, but they're learning from ISKCON to put more jewelry. So, this is how an Acharya means one who following the footstep of his Acharya. They're setting an example. So they're not attached to it. They're accepting on behalf of Krishna. So they can make some variations. So there was a lot of deviation that time. This, like I was talking about Upper Sampradaya, these different groups, they're making up their own thing. They're showing up devotion, rolling on the ground, tears, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, but they're doing fake, not real. This is why that Brahmachari kicked the person rolling in the ground and the side of his rib. And then he stopped doing all this ecstasy, he ran out. Because if you were still in ecstasy, you would be still rolling on the ground and chanting Hare Krishna, despite the pain on the side of your rib. But he didn't show that. He was just faking. So there were so many fake sampradayas in Bengal. And they were showing, So Srila Prabhupada, he had that real love for Krishna. Sometimes we can talk about it and feel the ecstasy just by talking about it. But Srila Prabhupada, they had that love in the heart for Krishna. They're innate, they're born with it. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was smashing these different groups. He went against. This is why he was criticized. But he was so powerful. So when Gaur Krishna Das Babaji passed away, before that he says, when I die, I want the people of Navadip to drag my body on the dust of the feet, of the dust of the Vaishnavas in the Navadip, in the street of Navadip. So that's what they did. They were going to drag his body in a street, Navadip. And Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati came in the spot. He says, stop! He says, I'm the only disciple and I have the right to take his body. None of you. He says, if anyone who's been a brahmachari for 1 year can touch him, no one came near him. In the last 6 months, no one came near him. Last 1 month, last 3 days, and he took the body. And Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur took the body of his guru, Guru Babaji, away from there. His samadhi is in Mayapur, right? So he was so powerful. He was like if you see him, you can feel the effulgent. Sometimes you see, like our devotees, some of the devotees you see, they feel very, very powerful. So he was like that. And first time Srila Prabhupada saw Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, he immediately told him, this is the person. This is the famous story, that he was the one who meant to go and preach Krishna consciousness in the Western country. He only saw him first time. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is the one who is meant to do. So sometimes they criticize, the Indian, they criticize, you white people, how you can be qualified to be Hare Krishna, to be a Brahmana. They criticize. So they used to criticize Bhaktivedanta Thakur that time. How you can, how you can change all the rules. So it's mentioned when Srila Prabhupada was chanting Hare Krishna and doing a kirtan in Tompkins Square Park under the tree, all the hippies were chanting. And as it's mentioned that as soon as Prabhupada came, all these hippies, they gave up whatever they're doing and they followed Prabhupada. So we say as if they already had the connection from before. They were already waiting there for Prabhupada's arrival. So whatever they're doing, they give it up. So that means they're not ordinary. They're just born in New York. Doesn't mean they gave up, immediately took up Srila Prabhupada's and helped Prabhupada, to assist Prabhupada. So this is how I always tell people. In India, Srila Prabhupada was very difficult for him to preach. People are not taking up. But he was successful because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wanted him to preach Krishna consciousness in the Western world, the Western country. So sometimes we do something, it doesn't work out because we're not meant to do that, even though it's right. Things go wrong because our Guru Maharaj doesn't want us to do it. And Prabhupada went to America, he was already an elderly man. He didn't go immediately, he was preparing. He went at the right time. He also knew there is a time for everything. When is the right time to preach Krishna consciousness, preach Bhakti Yoga. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also wrote many, many books. Like Prabhupada wrote many books. Actually our devotees also writing many books. Prabhupada wanted us to write books, write many books. His disciples write books. I remember Bhavananda, one of our Guru Maharaj, used to be in Australia. He used to always tell me, write books, a cookbook from your mother before she passed away. I say, everybody in ISKCON know how to write, how to cook. But no, she cooked for Prabhupada, so I didn't want to ask her to give me the recipe to write a cookbook. But the point is, it's a good thing to write books about Krishna. So Bhaktisiddhanta wrote so many books. Bhaktivedanta Thakur so many books. The Acharyas, there are so many books. Goswamis, they are very renowned, but they wrote so many books. Those books are our essential books that we rely on the philosophy and knowledge. So they may be sitting in the Holy Dham, but they are writing so many books, and those books are like time bomb. They are making devotees all over the world. So that is preaching. So preaching doesn't mean just traveling and preaching, but those who were that time, the Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, and Gaur-Krishna Babaji and Bhaktivedanta Thakur, they wrote books, and those books are the essential knowledge of Bhakti Yoga today. So my point is, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also wrote so many books, and these books are preaching books. And you see the songs Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote, those songs are philosophy. Every time you sing the song by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, it's not only very sweet and very melodious, but you see the translation. It's preaching. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur's time, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's time in Bengal, if you want to preach in Bengal, you have to do in a very cultural way, through songs. They used to write songs. So that's why you have this song. And these songs, not like in Gujarat, Wake Up, or Krishna, these songs are philosophy. Wake up the sleeping soul, Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago. These are songs. And it's directly preaching through the songs. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, they wrote many books directly preaching Krishna consciousness through songs, through the method of songs. And it's mentioned here, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, his favorite book is Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita is just songs. They are like songs we sing, but quotes glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, we cannot imitate Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, but we can follow their instruction. And become, so these are the days today, like today his appearance day, these are the days when we can pray to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, to pray to the pure devotees, Prabhupada, for their blessings, so we can also become the tools in the hand of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, become a better disciple of our Guru Maharaj, become a better Vaishnava. We can also take up Krishna consciousness and preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. It's not that it's only the duty of your Guru Maharaj. Every one of us has a duty. Jare deka tare kaho Krishna upadesh amarega guruya tarayedesh. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that every one of you should become a guru, in the sense you teach others about Krishna consciousness, about Krishna. So, fill up your days, even if you are not in the temple, you're at home, you must take up Krishna consciousness and tell others about Krishna, just as Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur did. There's even schedule. Bhaktivedanta Thakur's schedule, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur's schedule, how throughout the day they were so full up in Krishna consciousness. There was no time for them to waste in any way. They were always spreading Krishna consciousness. Their whole life's example is a teaching. Acharya means one who sets by his own example. So, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, Gaur Krishna Das Babaji, all the Acharyas, they are setting an example to the whole world. They're like avatar. They have come here to teach us how to become lover of God, lover of Krishna. This is why the devotees ask Prabhupada, can you describe your spiritual master? He says, what can I say? He is a Vaikuntha man. That's what he said. Vaikuntha man means he just came from the spiritual world. He didn't say like that to anybody else. He can see that his Guru Maharaj and his spiritual master all the way down, we are all connected, the chain of disciplic succession. So if we call ourselves as the disciple of our Guru and our Guru's Guru, we are connected to Prabhupada. So we need to be very exemplary. I know I'm not the best example, but at least we need to keep ourselves connected to Prabhupada through the ISKCON line. Just like if you get off the track, on a train track, if you are going to, like I go to, where I go, you have to get the right train. You don't go to the Wabi if you have to go to Dandenong. You get in the right, so you have to stay on the right track. So we are on the right track. Vaishnava Sampradaya. Like I was saying before, there are different Sampradayas. That time, upper Sampradayas, they're making a show of a devotee. Naketilai, galai malai, arashab kalir chala. It says that these people are wearing tilak, but they are like anybody in Kali Yuga, these people of Kali Yuga. They're showing. So I remember when I came to Hare Krishna, ISKCON Mayapur, they said, just put tilak on, and you're one of them. Then you can get the prasadam and do all the things. I said, where's the tilak? But we have to see how we don't make a show. We have to be very sincere in our heart. Because Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is watching. Prabhupada told Tamil Krishna Maharaj in the Bhagavatam class, and he said, and you, Prabhupada said, and you, he said to Tamil Krishna Maharaj, he said, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is waiting for you. So, we be Krishna conscious in such a way, we're so devoted to our spiritual master that Krishna is our spiritual master waiting for us. He's always there next to us. So when Prabhupada went to America, doesn't mean it. Prabhupada said, I can feel the presence of my Guru Maharaj, even though he's so far away from India. Because he was so dedicated to follow the instruction of his Guru, he can feel the presence of his Guru in all the way in New York. Just like if you love someone, you always think of them. So you're almost living with them, years in your mind. So, like that, Prabhupada was always thinking. He never gave himself any credit for all his achievement of ISKCON. He says it's due to my Guru, due to my Guru's mercy, due to Bhaktivedanta Thakur, due to Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. This is the attitude we have to also take. Then everything goes very smoothly. Always feel so like I was saying, these days, special days like Appearance Day of our spiritual master, Appearance Day of other acharyas, is the days when we can take full shelter and pray to their mercy. I was thinking this morning, Mangalarati time, I'm like, some people say, oh, this is the only life. At the end, when you die, and that's it. You can do whatever you like now, enjoy. I said the same thing. Yeah, this is the only life. And do whatever you like. But this life only in this body. You're going to get another body. But in this life, in this body, then you will get another chance. So, at the end, who knows what's going to get, but we have the golden opportunity now to associate with spiritual master. And you are so lucky. Your Guru Maharaj is still here, my Guru Maharaj is Prabhupada. But it doesn't matter, we are all connected. Like I said, we have to stay in the track. Once you get off the track, then there's accidents. Then you go around, you have your own movement, and you want tilak. It's okay. We don't say anything wrong with that. But you're off the track. But you want to be swift. They call it in India, bank, swift code. Then you have to stay on the track. Then it's swift. Then it's quick. So, the track of Krishna consciousness, we are connected through Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur, through Bhaktivedanta Thakur, Srila Prabhupada, through our Guru Maharaj. As long as our spiritual master is guiding us and we are accepting their guidance, we can continue to get the blessing of previous acharyas. Okay. Hare Krishna. Any questions, quickly? Okay. Yes, bro.
How did, if Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's name was initiated name, I can't remember that.
Varshabhanaya Dai.
Yeah, so
Daita.
how did he get his name Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati?
Yeah. Yeah, after his initiated name, when he got sannyas, then you get a title, like Bhaktivedanta, like I see Bhaktivedanta Swami. Bhaktivedanta, so Bhaktisiddhanta means one who is fully convinced, fully Siddhanta, the philosophy. He is known as the encyclopedia, like he knew all the Vedanta scriptures. So that's his title, as Bhaktisiddhanta. So the title, like sannyasis, they have their name and then they have a title name. So like that. Yeah. So you may be some like PhD and so on, and then they have different graduate PhD. Yes?
How did Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur come to this name?
Like I said, the spiritual masters, they are just like Krishna comes to this world. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur also appeared in this world on the order of Krishna, and it's mentioned Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is Krishna's associate, like Prabhupada. he was a manjari, like a gopi. So they come. He was born in Calcutta. In Jagannath Puri, and it's mentioned when he appeared in Jagannath Puri, he was already not an ordinary person. He had the Brahman thread around his body. We have the Brahman thread, so there's the umbilical cord around his body, like a Brahman thread. It's mentioned that Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he was the magistrate of Jagannath Puri, and on a special day when the Lord Jagannath comes out on the chariot, the mother of Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is Bhagavati Devi, and she was holding Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur on her lap, and because they are connected to Bhaktivedanta Thakur, she could walk up. Prabhupada tells the story. She could walk up on the chariot, and it's mentioned that one of the garland from Jagannath fell on the baby, Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. So he was born in Jagannath Puri. Here it's mentioned here. So they're born different places, but they appear here according to the will of Krishna. Not like so devotees when they take their birth, also it's special birth. So Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur is very special because he was born in Jagannath Puri, and his father was Bhaktivedanta Thakur, so it's very special. They're all elevated personalities from the spiritual world. They're Krishna's associate, like Prabhupada. Prabhupada was born in Calcutta, like that. We have another program later, right? 12:30. Anybody else want to say something? That story I was telling, Janani Bas Prabhu was telling this story that they wanted to, the queen was coming to Mayapur, and so they want to receive her, but it's all dirt road. So they got Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur. He was a prominent because his father was Bhaktivedanta Thakur, and Bhaktivedanta Thakur was a district magistrate of Bengal. And so whatever he says, he becomes authoritative. So he got all the villagers to make a road, or like within a week, dirt road. They bring the dirt and make it into a dirt road. And that's the road we see today. We call it Bhaktisiddhanta Road because of Bhaktisiddhanta, who's the one who made the road with the help of the villagers. And if you go to, it's mentioned that town Krishnanagar. Krishnanagar is between Santipur and Navadip. There's that one city, and they had the British used to have their court there. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur he's a judge. So Bhaktivedanta Thakur, he used to work in the Krishnanagar. So they had a railway built for him. That railway line, if you go to Bhaktivedanta Thakur house, across the Jalangi, they said that railway was just for Bhaktivedanta Thakur to come from his office to go to his house. So as soon as you get off the railway, his house is right there. And it goes up to Shantipur, because I used to take that train from there to go to Shantipur, where I lived. Long ago, that train was a very simple, small train with a engine, that coal engine. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was a very, very unique personality. Acharyas, they can change some of the regulatory principles because they are in connection with Krishna. Like Srila Prabhupada, he was criticized by the Brahmanas. He brought the foreigners to India, and he was initiating them, making them Brahmana, giving them sannyas. How can he was doing that? He was breaking the Indian tradition. And exactly the same. The Smarta Brahmanas, they were criticizing Bhaktivedanta Thakur for wearing Western clothes. So Prabhupada was criticized the same way. But there's a story, they surrounded Prabhupada one time. These 10 people came in Prabhupada's room in Vrindavan, and they were really heavy on Prabhupada, telling, how can you initiate these foreigners? How can he make them Brahmana? You were shouting at him and shouting. And all the Western devotees were next to Prabhupada, and they could very angry. Prabhupada said, don't worry, I know how to deal with it. So Prabhupada was sitting, and they were all around him. And they were shouting and shouting at Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada didn't do anything. He just quietly sat there, like a small boy. And because he knew, like that's why he told others not to do anything. He knew what to do. So he then, suddenly, he looked up at everybody, and he said, I'm just simply trying to follow the orders of my Guru. That's what he said. And all these people, the Indian people, and they all put their head down and walked out. He didn't have to hit them or anything or say something nasty. Prabhupada knew. So, the acharyas, what they do, or any changes they do, it's because is to enhance Krishna consciousness, is to improve others' Krishna consciousness, is to preach Krishna consciousness quickly and accept all the material things to make Krishna consciousness speedy, more quickly, and then people can take up. So there's facility. It's just like this ISKCON. Like I was saying, Bhaktivedanta Swami, just recently he came to Mayapur on a helicopter, and I put out the red carpet for him. So some people are criticizing, how can, it takes hours and hours from Calcutta to go to Mayapur on a car. The road's so bad. It's a little bit better than before, but so save all the hardship, get there quickly, so he can be with his disciple, can see with Mayapur, so he can go on his service. They're taking these helicopters, all kinds of meat eaters, and business people on a business trip, whatever. Bring up devotees of Krishna. Why not? For preaching Krishna consciousness. So when Bhaktisiddhanta, same thing. They were criticizing because he was riding in a Rolls Royce made from silver. If we have enough silver and gold, we offer to Prabhupada, no problem. We don't offer gold and silver and diamond to Krishna because maybe pujaris will steal or we will increase the thief. This is why. But we don't mind to offer all the opulent to Krishna. Silver plate. God is the owner of everything. So people will always find something to chew on, finding fault. Even when Krishna was here, they said, are you God? That's why he had to show the universal form, to show that he is Bhagavan. So like this, on and on and on. So the pure devotees, like Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by their blessing, by their mercy, we can follow the footsteps of our spiritual master and become better devotees. Hare Krishna. They have questions? Should I answer? Later we'll talk. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj ki. Srila Prabhupada ki.